What is up, it's Eddie Neddy and welcome to another video on the channel, and we are talking about history makers, and the first one kicking off is with Neil Etheridge. On 11th of August 2018, Neil Etheridge made history for the growing country of the Philippines as he became the first ever Filipino player to play in the Premier League. However, let's start at the start of this journey and how he got to that period and how he broke a milestone for Southeast Asia. Born in London, England, born to an English father and born to a Filipino mother, Neil Etheridge locally played for youth sides such as Coffee Chiefs and Heart Boys. He regularly also attended young under-14s Chelsea academy games, who continued to develop with Chelsea, originally as a forward, but due to a suggestion of his coach, he ended up changing to the goalkeeper that we all know of today. In 2006, Neil Etheridge signed for his first professional football club as he moved from one London club to another, Fulham, where he signed for Fulham professionally on a professional contract. He also went immediately out on loan to South Division 1 side Leatherheads, only making 6 appearances though for the side. That was his first loan spell away from a football club, which he would make further loan spells from. But unfortunately for Neil Etheridge, he suffered an injury, tendinitis, where he was out for the remaining of the season. He had to undergo surgery on both of his knees. January 2010, Neil Etheridge signed a contract extension with Fulham to keep him after that injury, and then just spent time on the bench for Fulham before being loaned out to Charlton. But a very weird loan where he was loaned out to Charlton only for 6 days, where 6 days later he returned back to Fulham and signed a 2.5-year deal with Fulham. He made his debut for Fulham in the Europa League against Odense Bullcup, who was a Danish side in the Europa League. He then went out on a couple of loan spells after making his debut in the Europa League to Crewe Alexandra and Bristol Rovers before being released by Fulham in 2014. Following his release from Fulham, things became very difficult for Neil Etheridge. He used his own money to train with former club Charlton, where he only spent a short loan spell there through knowing the goalkeeping coach at the time, and really struggled to make a living, forced to sell both his cars and his house, and was on the verge of moving out of England and into the Philippines. He joined Oldham on a 2-month deal for the football club, forced to live at his friend's house during the time of playing with Oldham, obviously due to having no real money, forced to sleep on a sofa, and questioned whether he would continue playing football as he fell out of love with it. He was released by Oldham Athletic, and then he signed for Charlton again for a season, but unfortunately for Charlton, he was released at the end of the year. However, things started to look up for Etheridge after loads of years of moving and slow contracts that only lasted about a year or 6 months or 2 months. Neil Etheridge finally actually moved to Walsall, where he spent 2 years at the club, signing a 2-year deal as well. After making 50 appearances in his first season in all competitions, getting Walsall, helping them to get to the League One semi-playoff finals, were unfortunate and they lost to Barnsley. However, for Neil Etheridge, the following season, after another great season totaling 94 appearances during his time at Walsall, he was forced to leave after a lucrative offer came in from Cardiff, which was rejected earlier on in January before the end of the season. 2017, Neil Etheridge signed for Cardiff on a free transfer on a 3-year contract, which is sensational, from Walsall. And his first season, he helped guide Cardiff to the Premier League, playing 45 out of 46 of the games in the EFL Championship during their promotion season, and also only conceding 37 goals in the entire season and keeping 19 clean sheets. And then Cardiff got promoted to the Premier League. Incredible. Following promotion to the Premier League, Neil Etheridge was rewarded a 3-year contract by the Cardiff City hierarchies, and this is where history happens. On August 2018, he became the first ever footballer from Southeast Asia and the Philippines to play in the Premier League, also saving a penalty on his debut, which hasn't been done since Alan McGregor of Hull in 2013. Multiple crucial saves from Neil Etheridge throughout the season was undeniable. He won Supporters Player of the Year, but unfortunately, despite major saves, Cardiff City were relegated that season, and they were relegated back down to the EFL Championship. The following season, Neil Etheridge started in net for Cardiff City, but unfortunately in the first game of the season he suffered an injury against Wigan Athletic in a 3-2 defeat, a hamstring injury, and he was sidelined for 2 months at the time. Cardiff replaced him with Alex Smithies, and Alex Smithies regularly became the number 1 for Cardiff City, and Neil Etheridge wasn't made available for transfer. Neil Etheridge moved to Birmingham City during the new era at the time under Aitor Karanka in 2020, where he signed a 4-year deal with the club, keeping a clean sheet as well in his league debut away to Swansea. But that is probably one of his highlights of the season with Birmingham City, keeping a clean sheet in his debut. As things would quickly unravel, Birmingham City fell down the league, and Neil Etheridge, unfortunately for him, he was hospitalised during the COVID pandemic, which obviously is really heartbreaking, but he later recovered and spent majority of the time during the Birmingham City bench as John Ruddy established himself as the number 1. However, Neil Etheridge did have a little bit of brightness towards the end of the season in 2023, where Ruddy would suffer an injury in the first half against Millwall. Neil Etheridge would come on to replace him, and he would play the remainder of the season. Neil Etheridge also keeping a clean sheet as well, which at the time secured Birmingham City championship survival against Millwall. However, in May 2024, he was released as a Birmingham City player. He currently plays for Borham United in Thailand, where he is playing a lot in the Asian Cup qualifiers, trying to do his best with the Thailand side. And yeah, that's where he's at currently. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video on the channel. If you guys have, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have an amazing day. Take care.